Look at this, our cup runneth over this morning, jam-packed with Marcus and Jalen and Greedy and Laura. Ryan Russillo is back, and Jay Will is in the building as well. And, you know, it was the great Charles Dickens who wrote, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times." And when he did, he was thinking of the Laker game last night because it was both of those. Let's show you. Here is the top 5 scorers in the history of the NBA going into last night's action. You see LeBron James that close to his idol, Michael Jordan. We all knew it was coming, Jalen, and come it would. LeBron knew it was a big deal. He had it all on his shoes. Second quarter, he had 10 points. He needs 2 to tie, 3 to pass. There's a jumper. He has now tied Michael Jordan for 4th all-time on the scoring list. And then later, here's the bucket that does it. Rondo, LeBron, left hand, and there it is. He passes Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Continues to ascend in the history books. Don't underestimate the greatness of one Wilt Chamberlain, then Michael Jordan. Now LeBron James is 4th all-time and getting buckets in the history of the NBA.
He would need about 3.5 more seasons at his current pace to become number 1 all-time, but it was an emotional night for him and many in the game. Meantime, that's about the only thing that went right for the Lakers.
They were down 19.
They were down 19 when that happened. That's correct. Should not be overlooked. And it would get worse. Third quarter, down 21. Nikola Jokic, he may be the best quarterback in Denver. Joe Flacco's got competition. Look at that pass for Paul Millsap. And then, JaVale McGee, where's that going? Throws it away. Lakers down by as many as 23. Fourth quarter, Lakers try to make a comeback, and they would, down just 6, and here comes LeBron.
They did a good job trying to make a run, in particular early in the fourth quarter, but then all of a sudden the Nuggets turned up their defensive intensity and blew the brakes off the Los Angeles Lakers.
And Gary Harris would be a big part of that, doing it outside, then doing it inside. The Nuggets lead is 7. LeBron scored 31, but it would not be enough. Still in the fourth. Watch the defense. Will Barton chasing down Josh Hart and pinning it against the board.
The Nuggets, through injury this season, have been able to build out a lot of depth. They're going to be a tough out as playoff time comes.
Just over 3 minutes to go. That was Barton finding Jamal Murray in the lane. Murray would finish with 19. Barton with a team-high 23. And then here's the moment everyone is talking about. Rajon Rondo coming out of the game. And where is he sitting and why is he sitting there?
Well, that's just so disrespectful to everybody involved, and he's showing that he's really checked out.
It's hard to get those seats in L.A., though.
In a moment. First, let's hear from LeBron on passing Michael Jordan.
A lot of stuff that I've done in my career. This ranks right up there at the top. We're winning a championship. MJ was that guy for me. I watched him from afar. Wanted to be like MJ. Wanted to shoot fadeaways like MJ. Wanted to stick my tongue out on dunks like MJ. Wanted to wear my sneakers like MJ. I wanted kids to look up to me at some point like MJ, and it's crazy, to be honest. It's beyond crazy. But you guys have no idea what MJ did for me and my friends growing up. Just in the sense of, some days where you just don't even feel like you're gonna make it to the next day where I grew up, because of everything that's going on. So, like I wrote on my shoes tonight, like you saw, I thank MJ more than he would, more than he'd ever known, and I gotta carry it on to the next kid. Hopefully, I can inspire the next kid like myself.
All right, so the emotion is obviously real, and it's easy to understand. The Lakers season started on October 18th. LeBron was 7th on the list. He's now moved all the way up to 4th, and again, based on his career scoring average, he would pass Kobe Bryant for 3rd in the Lakers' 32nd game of next season. So we'll worry about that when we get there. And Laura, there are really 2 stories to deal with this morning. We can start with LeBron passing Michael Jordan. That obviously is a big deal. It should not be overlooked as we get into the disaster that is their season. But how about him passing Michael?
It's phenomenal, as we talked about on SportsCenter. I mean, he adopted so many things from Michael Jordan. The number, the Potter toss. He's an iconic figure with Nike. He's a mogul and a businessman. And Michael Jordan gave you the high score on the video game for everybody to try to shoot at. And so while people won't be able to accomplish or eclipse a lot of the things that he's been able to accomplish in the game, LeBron James has been the next best thing.
Let's get to the Lakers, though. And I don't know if this is quite Rostradamus, but you've been saying since October that Denver was a better team than L.A. Is it weird watching LeBron play for a bad team?
It is weird. And I know you guys feel the exact same way, because when you're the best player in basketball, usually that means you make the playoffs at least. Okay, so that means for me that right now we can't say that he's the best player in basketball, number one. Number two, it just says how much of a disaster that not only are they not a playoff team, Laura, they're not a contending team for the playoffs. They might as well try to get Zion at this point.
Well, the greatest thing about last night is that this is the distraction the Lakers needed, because if it weren't for LeBron passing MJ, which I can't even imagine. Like, sometimes we just roll over these things and go, all right, well, what's today's headline? You go like, no, man, the dude you idolized, you actually just passed him. But they gave up 43 points in the first quarter. Their defense was terrible. The announcer started calling it a summer league game. And then the Rondo act. So, like, there's like you said at the top of this whole thing, Greeny, there's these two amazing stories. One is kind of a blip, but the other part of it is where the Lakers are the rest of the season.
Jay, why is Rajon Rondo sitting on the other side of 2 chains at Laker game last night?
Because he's checked out, Greeny. He's checked out. That's apparent. This is what happens, though, as we continue to devalue the greatness that we're seeing from LeBron, because it's going to continue to happen. For these next 3 or 4 weeks, there's going to be a dumpster fire on the Laker organization because everybody's hurt. That's why I said it's a lose-lose scenario for LeBron to play. Granted, he accomplished something incredible last night, but that's still not the headline that we're leading with. We're going to talk about the ball being rolled all the way up the floor and then going out of bounds. Rajon Rondo sitting out. These things are going to continue to pile up.
Jalen, Rondo is sitting on the other side of fans during the game, and that's not supposed to happen.
So it's a perfect microcosm that shows a lack of respect for the organization, for the coaching staff and the teammates, and leadership in the locker room. Like, I already said that this will be the only season Luke Walton coaches LeBron James. So it's a reflection of the coaching staff. But it also is a reflection of the other guys in the locker room, because what ends up happening is we can also show clips of LeBron James doing that exact same thing.
Right.
So now, if I'm Rondo, you can't tell me nothing. And that's what ends up happening when the dumpster fire starts to happen. Yep. Everybody starts to look out for themselves.
So is this on Luke Walton?
No, this is on Rondo. Look, this is nothing new with Rondo, okay? Rondo, admittedly, after he left Boston, said, yeah, I pretty much checked out the last 2 years I was there and stopped playing defense. He goes to Dallas, and Rick Carlisle, who's as respected as anybody, couldn't work with him. And then Rondo has this unreal run with the Pelicans in the playoffs. And you kind of trick yourself into, like, man, like, when he's engaged, like, I can't imagine being good enough, gifted enough to play in this league and deciding the second half of your career that I'm undecided on what kind of effort, what kind of commitment I want to give this team. So Rondo, nobody could talk to Rondo when he was a rookie, okay? So now when it's this bad, like, he's just going to do whatever he wants. Like, fake it for the last month, and he can't do that.
How are you supposed to sell free agency on the culture of the Laker organization? Hey, come be a part of this. Be a part of that? That's what I want to come to L.A. for?
Clearly,
most of these guys won't even
the only person who's going to be back is LeBron, right? The culture is LeBron. Luke Walton is gone. All those one-year deal veterans are gone. These young players are all going to wind up getting traded for Anthony Davis if they can make that happen. So basically, the culture consists of one person. Is that right?
Absolutely. But here's why you can't shut LeBron down. To whom much is given, much is required. So when we're fourth in the playoffs and you're passing Michael Jordan, you got to lead from the front. When we're struggling, you can't take a step back and minimize how much you play and how much effort you give.
So you have him play every other game throughout the rest of the season?
Absolutely.
Okay, if he gets hurt, that's going to be a big story. He's 34 years old. That's all I'm saying.
Well, more on this. I want to get you guys to the Celtics last night, though, because they played late. You may not have seen what happened last night. It's an interesting night because Kyrie Irving